I'm Johnny Massacre and welcome to the Johnny Massacre Show. This is the Sunday Roundup where we check out all the news from the week previously. This is going to be a very random show. I just thought we'd go onto CNN and have a look because CNN's funny. CNN is just wall-to-wall anti-Trump stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing how they call themselves a news site. But they've got so little respectability. They don't even try to hide the fact that they're biased. But they market themselves as an impartial, bipartisan website. Anyways, it's quite good to look at because it gives you a rough idea of what's going on the left. After that, we'll go on to Fox News, see what was going on the right. So, yeah, here's CNN. So let's just have a look at the wall-to-wall anti-Trump stuff, which is going to be funny. So the main headline, I haven't read it yet, but it's going to be something cussing Trump because Orange Man bad. So Trump's finger-pointing is latest attempt to rewrite history in real time. The US president sought to reframe the fall election and shift blame for US Postal Service funding problems to Democrats. Okay, so number one, the only person trying to rewrite history is the Democrats. It's the opposite of Donald Trump and his party. I'm seeing Democrats support rioters, looters, and anarchists who are tearing down statues and are trying to literally rewrite history. They also burn books. They also try to get rid of churches and burn churches, and they hate religion and stuff like that. Anything historical, they want to rewrite and start it again from the ground up to make some kind of weird Marxist utopia. So that's complete bollocks. But the point is, there's all this talk about mail-in voting and shit. So they're obviously trying to counter Trump's claims that mail-in voting is bad and that mail-in voting is okay, and any problems with mail-in voting is all Trump's fault because of something to do with the postal service. Anyways, whatever. Mail-in voting is a really fucking bad idea because it can obviously be tampered with and rigged, and anyone can fucking do it because you basically don't require ID to vote. So yeah, mail-in voting, it's still up in the air whether it's going to go ahead in various states, but that's going to be a hot topic come election time. It's very simple. If people can go out and spread the C word and fucking burn shit and riot, they can go to a fucking polling station, get out their fucking ID and vote. So that's my opinion on mail-in voting. I think it's bollocks. I think it shouldn't happen, and I think people should go to the polling station. Other things, analysis. The sign that Trump is a weak candidate. I mean, they're not even trying to be witty here. That is literally saying Trump's bad. Next headline, Biden heads into conventions in historically strong position. Biden is just anyone who supports Biden and says he's all right. For example, if you go onto Twitter and just go into Biden's comments, there'll just be a few supporters saying, yeah, you go Biden. Anyone who thinks that is either ideologically brainwashed, in denial, or just stupid, because regardless of what you think about Trump, Biden can barely string a sentence together. The guy clearly has mental issues. He's clearly got Alzheimer's and his mental state is deteriorating. He can barely stay awake. So, but yeah, I mean, he is in a strong position. He's up in some of the polls. It would just be incredible if he gets into power. If he does, I'm just not going to read the news for 4 years because, I mean, fuck. He's basically a walking corpse and he's going to be a puppet for the Democratic Party. Hopefully not the far left radical Democratic Party, which is fast becoming the mainstream Democratic Party. But he just picked his vice president, Kamala Harris, who's a fucking bitch. She's a lying, conniving, nasty, evil politician. And she's basically going to be the president of the USA by proxy. When has it ever happened where someone has fielded a walking corpse as a candidate for the American presidency and they're probably going to die, so they can put anyone that they want in second in command and they'll take over? Usually that's not going to work because when someone's about to die, they're not going to get voted in to be president. But for whatever reason, Biden is in with a chance and he is in a strong position. CNN are right. But I think it's pretty fucking obvious that Trump's going to win. I'm going to put it out there and say he's guaranteed to win just because they picked Kamala Harris as a vice president. She's far too radical. She's a real bitch. And she said before that Biden is a fucking sex offender. And now she's supporting him. It just tells you everything you need to know about his vice president. Tells you everything you need to know about Biden, that he'd pick someone that called him a fucking pedophile like a few months ago. CNN is just showing us that American politics remains incredibly entertaining. It's like a twisted, dark game show. Next headline. Trump risks fracturing the global internet with the potential ban of Tick-Tock and Wechat. CNN quasi-communists sticking up for communist China, the people who are sending Uyghur Muslims in their millions into forced sterilization and organ harvesting gulags. Yeah, CNN, sure, support these Chinese apps that are basically malware and collect all the information of the American populace. Support them. Support the Chinese Communist Party, a party who would, in a second, have America all become slaves and chuck them into gulags if they could, unlike America, who wouldn't do that to them. So yeah, keep supporting them, CNN. We know where your real allegiance is. They also say, do TikTok and Wechat pose threats to national security? Simple answer, yes, because China owns them and can see all the data. You dumbasses. So yeah, loads of shit on CNN. And then I was scrolling down and I saw this, like another Chinese article. Photos show young rebellious China. It's a puff piece for China. Let's big up the communists who want to throw us in jail, who want to put malware all over the American technological industry, and who basically want to kill you. Look at this fucking puff piece on China, mixed with diversity. Luang Yang's powerful female portraits challenge Chinese gender norms. So yeah, puff piece on China, showing the diversity in China. Okay, yeah, this woman will soon be in a gulag as well, CNN. So thanks for highlighting that. She's now going against the Chinese authoritarian regime, who will not stand for any individuality whatsoever. So well done, CNN, for putting the communist spotlight on her. I'm sure she will be unpersoned very soon. So where should we go next? So we'll go from CNN into Fox News. That would only be fair. We go from the left to the right. So Fox News, what are they saying? So did you notice on the front page of CNN, they didn't tell you that Trump's brother was dead? You think that would be a massive headline. On Fox, it's the main headline. I think the reason they didn't put that piece of news is because everything with Trump has to be negative. And even CNN know that if they write something negative about Trump's brother dying, it would be a little bit distasteful. Thankfully, we haven't quite got to that stage yet, although I think if Trump wins the election in 2020, you will see people basically dissing Trump when his family members snuff it. Anyways, Fox News have decided to report that Trump's brother is dead. I swear I saw that this was COVID, but then that news disappeared. Maybe someone jumped the gun. Anyway, so Trump made a heartfelt statement, according to Fox News, about his dead brother. His brother was in his 70s, so he has gone. What else is going on over on Fox News? Well, Fox are kind of cussing Kamala Harris. They're making loads of anti-Kamala Harris pieces, as you'd expect, because she's basically brought in as a vice president to connect with the diverse people and people of color and try to attract them. So Fox have to try to discredit her in any way that they can, and justifiably so, because she's a massive cunt. And so yeah, Fox are kind of cussing Kamala Harris, Biden's vice president, on their website. What else is going on? AOC, far leftist radical politician, is speechless on Seattle protesters. Seattle is, of course, getting out of hand. Loads of riots, loads of violence going on over there, and far leftists basically support that, which is no surprise because that's just what they do. And yeah, so there's not really much going on in Fox News. It's kind of a slow news day. How about the BBC over in Great Britain? My fucking place, where I come from. BBC goes for mass protest eclipses Belarus leaders rally. So there was a presidential election in Belarus, and apparently there was a landslide for the main dude out there. And there's been loads of riots because it looks a little bit suspicious. People are saying that the vote was fixed, and Putin came out and supported Belarus, which probably suggests further that it was a rigged election. Tens of thousands of opponents of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko have gathered in Minsk to protest against disputed elections. So it's not just America where elections are disputed. All the lefties said Donald Trump's illegally voted into office when he wasn't. He was fairly and democratically voted into office. But then all around the world, you're getting the same kind of stuff. We've just had it in Hong Kong. Their elections have literally been delayed. That is literally spitting on democracy. That is the real issue here. America is not a problem. America's vote was definitely fair. If Donald Trump won the election, that means that it's the fairest system in the world, because if that guy can make it coming out of nowhere, it must be a fair system. It's a beautiful system. But then we've got Belarus, and I'm not sure whether the president is legitimate or not. But the BBC are showing footage from an underwhelming pro-Lukashenko rally, and there's hardly anyone coming out. But actually, for the anti-Lukashenko rallies, fucking loads of people, thousands of people are turning up. The article says, as unrest continued, Mr. Lukashenko sought help from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Lukashenko said President Putin had promised to provide what he called comprehensive assistance in the event of external military threats to Belarus. Well, that sounds like a fair democracy, calling in the military to crush any protests. The two leaders had a second conversation on Sunday in which the Kremlin said they discussed the situation in Belarus, taking into consideration the pressure the Republic was being put under from outside. Okay, and in response to this, EU foreign ministers agreed on Friday to prepare new sanctions against Belarusian officials responsible for violence, repression, and the falsification of election results. The US has also condemned the election as not free and fair. So the US and Europe at large has come out and said that the Belarusian presidential election was fixed. So there's a lot of noise about this. Don't know whether it's true, but it looks like there are protests and the government are turning on the protests. So you got echoes of Tiananmen Square in China where people protested some stuff and then the Chinese government fucked them up. This is really the sign of totalitarianism. And then in America, you got all the lefties complaining about Donald Trump. Where have the police come out and like murdered and killed protesters? There's people on the fucking White House lawn making fucking fires in oil drums, and they're okay. And it's only when these cunts really get out of hand and start burning down buildings, only then the National Guard come in to kind of defend the country. And people complain in America. What are you fucking complaining about, mate? We fucking made it in life. You people will just never be happy. Whatever you have, you'll just always look for an excuse to be miserable and blame someone. I hate that blaming victimhood culture bullshit. So yeah, you got three very different pictures there. CNN is just wall to wall, orange man bad. Fox News is people we like, Donald Trump, someone he know died. So kind of factual, but related to their figureheads. And then BBC is fuck all of that. Belarus. It's all shit in Belarus. So that's kind of interesting. BBC taking a different stance. BBC have actually gone really far left for some reason. They're state-funded media. They're supposed to be bipartisan, but there's loads of fucking woke articles on here. So BBC are also reporting that Donald Trump's younger brother has died. What else is BBC doing? They're reporting on a wrecked Mauritius oil spill. So there's loads of oil leaking out from a ship in Mauritius, and apparently it's broken in two. Yay, poison the ocean. So that's going on. And that's pretty much it. If we scroll down on the BBC, you're guaranteed for a woke article. You want to see what I'm talking about? All right, let's see how long it takes us before we find some woke shit. Okay. Oh, look, where Japan's umami comes from. I was discussing this with my mate. But no, let's not do that. Okay, so look, we go down to near the bottom, but there is a woke article. There's always at least one. Women and words, why language matters. How sexism is reflected in the English language and why the words we choose are important. Just shut the fuck up, bitch. Okay, so what else is going on? Those are kind of the three main news sites. Got the two main ones in America and the main one in Britain. We should probably look at some other hot topics. Okay, so another big thing. So Apple and Google have removed Fortnite video game from app stores. Now, I fucking hate Fortnite. That wishy-washy, candy-coated, batty boy bullshit game that's made for little kids and is not too cutting edge, not too edgy, very colourful, bright colours like a Saturday morning cartoon. Fuck all that. That game, they've got loads of money. They really fucking made cash from the loot box system. At one point, I think they had loot boxes. Correct me if I'm wrong. But now it's just cosmetic items. So they make shit like millions of dollars every fucking day from cosmetic items. They've got a lot of financial clout, and they had their games on the Apple Store and the Google App Store. And what happened is Apple takes 30% of all monetization from apps, And Fortnite tried to bypass that 30% cut that Apple was taking and the cut that Google were taking, offering some kind of direct payment. So they would just take all the money, and Apple immediately shut them down. And this is a very tactical move, because as soon as Apple removed Fortnite from the App Store, Fortnite immediately launched a lawsuit and launched some kind of advertising strategy in the form of a few memes. So they were ready to go. They knew that Apple was going to ban them. They've obviously amassed a massive fortune. They're tired of the fact that Apple and Google have a monopoly on applications and therefore modern style mobile games. We're talking about the Fortnite mobile games here, I believe. And then they decided to directly challenge that with all their financial might, and not only try to get this overturned in court, but I guess try to change the law to support game developers who put their games on the Apple App Store and the Google App Store in order to take more money, because 30% is pretty fucking gangster. So that is going on. I'll just read you a little bit from the far left publication Guardian. They say Apple and Google have removed the enormously popular video game Fortnite from their app stores for violating their in-app payment guidelines, prompting the maker, Epic Games, to take legal action, challenging the tech giant's iron grip over the industry. Its removal from Apple's App Store and Google's Play Store came after Fortnite circumvented the company's in-app payment system and hefty fees, encouraging users to pay the gaming company directly. I've seen this before with other applications I've had. One was a social media messaging service, and you can buy people gifts. And when you did that, the money went directly to the developer. And so that service was removed. The application wasn't banned, but the service was removed. And you would have to go directly to their website to go around the App Store in order to buy gifts for your friends that way. Epic responded to the removal by announcing legal action against the iPhone maker and Google, and calling on supporters to join the fight against Apple in a video spoof of the tech giant's famous 1984 commercial. So Apple, when they released some computer, I think they dissed Windows or Microsoft and likened them to some kind of totalitarian regime, a fascist regime. They had all these faceless kind of socialist people marching, and I think that was Microsoft. And then Apple comes along and destroys all the communists. Now Epic, who make Fortnite, are saying that Apple have strayed far from their roots, and they have actually become the monster that they once promoted themselves against. And when they said they weren't like the monsters which were Apple's rivals. Monster. So Epic said in a statement, Apple's removal of Fortnite is yet another example of Apple flexing its enormous power in order to impose unreasonable restraints and unlawfully maintain its 100% monopoly over the iOS in-app payment processing market. Apple takes a cut of between 15 and 30% for most payments made inside apps, although there are some exceptions for companies that already have a credit card on file with iPhone customers if they also offer an in-app payment that would benefit Apple. So anyways, without wanting to look like a fucking idiot, I'm going to search for Fortnite on the App Store just to see what the fuck is going on here. I can't even fucking find it. Anyways, Fortnite fucking sucks. Apple fucking sucks. Google sucks. You all fucking suck. Fortnite is a trashy pop culture game, probably with some good mechanics, but it's just the aesthetic is repulsive and gross, and it's dumbed down mass market Marvel style Avengers drip fed bullshit. And Apple have turned into a faceless big tech woke shit show, and Google is just is the devil. It's a small government within a government that makes its own rules that the rest of the world have to abide by, even though none of them are politicians and there's no checks and balances. So I say, quite simply, fuck 'em all, fuck 'em all. West Ham United, Liverpool, we are the Arsenal and we are the best. We are the Arsenal, so fuck all the rest. Fuck 'em all, fuck 'em all. Apple, Fortnite, and Google. Yeah, so what else is going on in the world today? Well, there's some woke shit that I brought up from an article. CNBC says the $150 billion video game industry grapples with a murky track record on diversity. No, it hasn't. Just leave people alone to make the games that they want to fucking make. It's mostly made by men because men are more interested in this kind of work. It's nothing to do with patriarchal bias or systemic bias. Men like to do certain types of work. Women like to do others. And therefore, men make games mainly with for men. And so stop saying it's murky and trying to infect it with your identity politics just to push your political agenda. Fuck all that. Get out of our games. There's too many politics everywhere, ruining everything. Sport, games, whatever. I'm tired of it. What else is going on? Okay. We've got some Black Lives Matter stuff. We've got all kinds of shit, really. But I think we've probably nattered on enough for today. I did see some article talking about how, like racism and prejudice and shit. And I was just thinking, well, you shove fake diversity down our throats 24/7. You're training people through the media, through the education, to always think about race and color and diversity. And you're surprised when divisions are drawn in the sand and people are overthinking about race and the world's become a miserable place where everyone's afraid to say anything at all. Fuck all this diversity bullshit. It's not really... Whenever you see diversity in the mainstream media, it's always just a play by leftists to score moral points and look like good people and push their narrative. It's basically a Trojan horse for radical leftist policies under the thin veil of diversity, and they use that veil like a shield to defend any legitimate incoming attacks that are kind of chipping away at the real issues, which are their far leftist policies. But they use diversity and inclusion as a kind of human shield in order to bully people and push forward their political points like a battering ram. So I say fuck all that shit. Finally for today, the real reason I made this show is because I got a birthday present from my dad, and I haven't opened it for fucking ages. So he says I might already have it. He might have already bought it for me. Memory's fading, Dad, but I can see what it is. Oh, look, little Prezi Wezzy. Oh, that kind of gives me goosebumps. It's like hearing fingernails being drawn down a blackboard. You know when you chew on a lolly stick? Fucking lolly stick, that wooden kind of smell. That's what the wrapping paper smells like. Gave me goosebumps. Made my skin crawl, but it looks nice. He hasn't given me these. Look, we got fucking Animal Farm by George Orwell. Just read 1984. Changed my life. Loved it. Looks quite small. Easy to read. Cannot wait to read that. Really happy to have some paper books, so I'm not fucking looking at this shit all the time. Great. I'll definitely read that. Thanks, Dad. And Why I Write. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance on solidity to pure wind. By George Orwell. Oh man, this sounds great. I didn't even know this existed. Well up for this. Thanks, Dad. Why I Write, George Orwell. Cannot fucking wait. Sweet. And also I got a t-shirt by DJ Aki, biggest drum and bass DJ in Japan. Isolated Humanism, his latest concept. You can check out DJ Aki. He's got a live stream every week. It's getting really, really popular now in Japan. One of the best drum and bass shows around. So thanks a lot, Aki. Really, really appreciate it. Looking forward to mastering a lot of your material soon. And that's about it. And I tell you what, mate, you better be back for the next Johnny Massacre show. Otherwise, I'll be coming around your ass. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, because that is what all those other cunts tell you to do. Layers.